Okay, moving on to the consent agenda. The consent agenda consists of items that, in staff's opinion, are routine and non-controversial. These items are approved in one motion unless a council member or a member of the public requests to remove a particular item. Is there anybody from the public that would like to discuss or remove a particular item? Seeing none, bringing it back to the council. Is there anybody from the council that would like to discuss or remove a particular item on the consent agenda?
I have a question on item number 3 and 10.
Okay. Mr. Yearleys, can you come up, please, and discuss item 3? I think we've gone over this a couple times through the public policy or the public works, but it'll be good for the public to be informed regarding.
Yes.
Hold on for a second. Besides item 3 and 5, do I have a motion to approve the rest of the consent agenda?
Motion.
Motion by Councilmember Gonzalez, second by Councilmember Gutierrez. 3 and 10. 3 and 10. Okay. Madam Clerk, may I have roll call, please?
Mayor Yon.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Cano. Councilmember Gonzalez.
Aye.
Councilmember Perez. Councilmember Gutierrez.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Okay, thank you so much. Go ahead, Yearleys.
Good afternoon, Honorable Mayor and Council members. Item number 3 in question is the purchase of a new patch truck for the Streets Department. There's quite a bit of items that I want to touch on this staff report. I did provide a video, a link to City Clerk so we could a little bit better understand what this patch truck does. I'll be stopping the video in between to kind of highlight our downfalls in our equipment and also how this patch truck will not only increase efficiency but also increase capacity. So if you may, this is not, before the video starts, this is not exactly the patch truck we're getting, but it does have most of the exact same features that we're getting on this patch truck. So.
Can you keep on reading? Just bring it up so that they're able to hear the public.
A lot of that money is wasted on inefficient patching methods that produce at best
Thank you, Erica.
only temporary repairs. Many agencies try to employ existing equipment in pothole repair, but this throw-in-the-hole approach is not environmentally sound. It ties up men and equipment, adds to equipment maintenance, and does not produce a permanent repair. Some agencies use blow-in-the-hole systems, which is a temporary repair and requires a great deal of operator skill to get the correct mixture. The wrong mixture means a failed patch and more expense. There's a better way. The Pro Patch is a truck or trailer-mounted unitized asphalt patching machine capable of making effective and permanent asphalt repairs under all weather conditions. Its unique design allows the machine to transport hot or cold asphalt premix material and road oils at controlled heated temperatures. The unit's integral hydraulic system, driven by the truck's PTO, provides power to operate the machine's jackhammer, screw conveyor, oil pumps, asphalt agitator, and a variety of other hydraulic tools. The Pro Patch provides all the tools and materials necessary for a 1- or 2-man crew to make effective asphalt repairs, eliminating the use of air compressors, oil distributors, large rollers, and dump trucks. This in turn reduces manpower and equipment maintenance costs while minimizing the amount of equipment used in high-traffic areas. Let's watch as our crew demonstrates both the machine and the correct repair technique. The first step is to prepare the hole. This is done by using the onboard hydraulic hammer equipped with the cutting tool. The hole is prepared by cutting away dead asphalt and squaring up the hole. This ensures a uniform spoils into the hole.
So just this is something that if we were to do this operation separately, aside from our patch trailer that we currently have, we would have to get another truck with a generator on the back to be able to power up the jackhammer to be able to jackhammer out any areas that are beyond repair. So this truck has a generator on board, and it also has a jackhammer included on the truck as well. So.
Nice.
Hole for a better base. Next, the onboard air wand is used to blow light, loose debris out of the hole. The wand is powered by a hydraulic air compressor, but unlike some designs, the Pro Patch compressor is completely independent of the truck's air brake system, an essential safety consideration. In cold weather, the Pro Patch machine's onboard is used to heat the surface around the hole. This ensures a solid bond with the new asphalt.
So this is another feature that this patch truck has is a torch. As you may see, sometimes on our roads, in the middle of the cracks, there's some weeds that are growing out in between the cracks. Instead of, weed eating, putting a chemical to kill the weeds, we could just torch the weeds and be able to blow it out with that wand you guys previously just saw. So makes it more efficient all in one step to be able to clean out the cracks that have any weeds growing inside of them.
Is also used for cleaning the asphalt tools. Now a coating of in asphalt tank and full hydraulic pump. When the emulsion they reach the spray nozzle, any chance of clogging, an advantage not found in systems.
You pause right there, Eric?
The emulsion oil.
So this is increase our capacity on it. Our patch trailer currently has a emulsion container, which is not very. The container that this truck has is an 85-gallon container, so that would allow us to do periods without having to go to Visalia to fill up. And also that the wand that sprays the emulsion is a lot more powerful than one we have right now. So that's another feature.
The pump is in lines. The spray wand is placed in the recovery well. Release agent spray. Augered into the prepared patch machine can transport up to tons of aggregate and a hydraulic-driven agitator prevents asphalt from bridging in the hopper. An optional secondary hydraulic booster motor is available to handle stiff, hard auger mixes. An exclusive thermostatically controlled LP gas system heats the aggregate hopper at a rate of 10 degrees far more quickly than electrical systems, with complete safety and at less will also hold the aggregate at working temperatures all day long, regardless of outside temperature, thanks to a 2-inch layer of aerospace-grade insulation, plus a system of electronically controlled dampers to prevent heat. During non-working hours, the asphalt aggregate hopper and liquid asphalt oil 2x2, 220-volt dry well electric heaters that are capable of maintaining heated material up to 300 degrees Fahrenheit. More importantly, the hopper is designed for safety. When its steel doors are open, a patented hydraulic valve completely stops the agitator and conveyor. This tamper-proof interlock system eliminates the chance of serious injury should someone accidentally fall into the hopper. Back to our
Can you
repair
pause it?
operation.
Can you pause it? So that's another thing I want to highlight about our trailer and this patch truck we're proposing to purchase is our patch trailer is currently it only holds 1 cubic yard of asphalt. So it's not just to patch small little areas. What we're looking to utilize this patch truck is to do very large skin patches, kind of what we did with the street rejuvenation project. So a project that would take, with this truck would take, half a day is typically taking us about 2.5 days. Just one clear example is we recently did some patchwork or skin patch on Taylor Avenue, just west of the 7394 development. And that took us 2 days as opposed to, because we had to come back, refill the patch truck to do a skin patch on a large area. Another feature I'd like to highlight is that this patch truck has an ability to charge overnight, so we can leave it in with a low power setting, and it's able to charge and heat up the asphalt to be ready first thing in the morning, as opposed to our guys having to come in 6 a.m., turn on the patch trailer, and then wait for it to heat up. Usually takes about, on a warm day, an hour and a half. On a colder day, usually takes a little bit longer. So guys probably won't leave the yard until 8 a.m. to start going to patch. So increase efficiency.
The crew spreads and levels the fresh asphalt, then compacts the material using the onboard compactor. The compactor is transported on its own hydraulic lift. Notice the mounting bracket, which holds the device in place, even if the crew forgets to lock it down. Just one of the many thoughtful, practical features you'll find throughout the ProPatch design. Finally, remaining debris is loaded into the spoils bins on the sides of the machine. Placing the bins here instead of at the rear keeps the machine in balance regardless of the load, and provides a much larger work area. Everywhere you look, you'll find features which prove that the ProPatch machine was designed by the most experienced company in the business.
I think we go ahead and stop it right there. Just to highlight a little bit on the last part that the video touched on is the compactor, or turtle as we call it in the field. It's got a platform that elevates to store that turtle, which is pretty heavy. Currently up. I know they use, two people, but at the end of the day, it is a heavy machine to pick up, load back up once you're done with the project. And then another thing is it has a bin for any spoils or waste, so we don't have to have a dump truck parked there waiting for us to toss any material that has to be thrown away. So, like I mentioned, it's all in one. Increase efficiency. Two guys could drive this and do some damage on repairing some roads. So, I think it's important to highlight that we are annexing more land. That means more roads we got to cover. Some of these roads that we've taken over from the county are in extremely rough shape, potholes, and it barely looks like roads in some instances. So I think it's important for us to try to procure this equipment to be able to keep up with the demand and also increase efficiency throughout the city. So we did get 3 quotes for this. The PB loader, the one we got, it's a Sourcewell contract, so we didn't have to go out to bid or get more bids for this, but we did still staff procured 3 quotes. We had 3 quotes. PB loader, which was a low bid, was $277,811.21. Haker came out at $302,894.33, and then Stat Manufacturing came out at $332,498.50. So another highlight about this truck is that it doesn't require a Class B license to drive it. Anybody, any staff, as long as they're trained to drive and utilize the vehicle, can drive it. So that's a huge for us. So we don't have to rely on a CDL this truck. So with that being said, I'd like to recommend for council and mayor to recommendation to purchase and procure this patch truck. So I'm open any you have.
Ms. Gonzalez, do you have
No,
any
I-
questions, concerns?
No, I like what I saw. It's an all-in-one type of setup that you got there, and the fact that we don't have to hire somebody outside to come and drive that. So, no, thank you so much for that.
No problem.
Mr. Gutierrez, you have any comments, questions?
Just looks good. Hopefully it'll increase efficiency and get the roads better.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, thanks. We spent 3 to 6 hours with your public works guys, seen them how they patched up the potholes. It was individuals, and that loader is super heavy, where it takes all 3 of them to just lift it, and they've been asking for this. And due to the fact that it's not coming out of our general fund, it's through the Valadale grant that we got a couple of years ago that we proposed, and it's helping us not only for the new streets, but also it's a time saving, and also for our HR department, where there's not a lot of claim of injuries, because this truck does it all itself.
Exactly.
And the staff's been asking for it now, so we finally got. It'll be easy for potholes and but for it to approve. Councilmember Gutierrez, clerk, roll call, please.
Mayor Yon,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Cano, Councilor Gonzalez.
Aye.
Councilor Perez, Councilor Gutierrez.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Now moving on to item number 10, Ms. Megan Snyder.
Good afternoon, Honorable Mayor and Council. I want to address the view of this is for a service agreement for vendor for the July 3rd event that's going to be hosted by the City of McFarland. The city's direction was to take on community events to ensure that we continue to provide the same legacy events. With the city's oversight, we can work with any other entities within the community so we can continue to collaborate and move things forward, but with safety at the utmost priority. That being said, this is just one element for that event, but in spend for that event, the item to move forward to lock in the vendor for that event. Has previously provided services within the City of McFarland, understands the community, and also has reviewed the potential setup. The city is looking to utilize the McFarland High School Stadium and deploy from the Maston Taylor property that is owned by the city. It brings us a unique advantage to basically service the entire city, where there is a viewing point from essentially everywhere, but also a show and larger fireworks as well. Open to any questions that you may have.
Festival committee's no longer doing this, right?
That's not in the agenda.
Oh.
It's the city just taking over the.
Oh, they're just,
The city's taking the lead, and we have opened it up to any community partners that want to work with us. We welcome sponsorship, volunteers, anything along those lines. We are just looking to take the lead for all liability and all oversight as far as the event logistics and safety measures. And that's essentially the entire intent, is to ensure that we continue to maintain the same traditions, work with anybody that wants to participate. We welcome them with open arms. We are just taking the lead on any events for safety purposes.
okay.
Megan, I'm gonna just answer this question regarding the 4th of July. We have the team, the resources, the infrastructure, and it should be led by the city, not by a committee that doesn't have assurances or insurances in case a claim would come through. And when they can't provide the security measures that our chief or our prior chief were asking for, that's a big problem, because us as a council and the city would be held liable if something were to occur. And so about festival committee and all that stuff, we already had that discussion. Nobody's trying to eliminate or do anything. We're just taking the lead because as a city, they're the festivals, and this is for the community.
Gotcha.
Mr. Gutierrez, you got any questions, concerns?
Just about the fireworks, right? So do they have an estimated time for fireworks?
It is looking to begin at 9 p.m.,
And you know the duration of the whole show?
approximately 15 minutes. Previously, our shows would range from 11 to 12 minutes. We're looking to go to the 15. Because of having the Maston Taylor property, there has to be a secure radius in which they fire them, but also ensuring that, no aerial items were to come down on any residential or anywhere that's a safety concern. But because we have that property, it gives them the ability to do larger fireworks in a closer viewing area for the stadium itself, because previously they were shot across the 99. So it's going to be a little bit different experience, but I think it's going to be a positive one.
Megan, I got a couple questions.
Sir.
You already called the vendor, correct?
I did.
I mean, so the people don't say that I'm saying this. The conversation you had with the vendor, what was that as far as it entails from last year?
So there were a few things. The vendor was excited to continue to work with the city of McFarland. They previously had a date already on the books, so we were able to continue with the same date as projected. And they voiced some safety concerns for several reasons, one of which was surrounding some relationship with the fire marshal and not having enough time allotted, where they had some of their own internal staff falling out because of heat. But they basically welcomed us with open arms and said that they thought we would do a great job, and has been a great working relationship thus far.
And what do you mean as far as not having the funding to pay for the extra?
So the county requires you pay a certain amount for your permit as well as the hourly rate. In an effort to save funds, instead of paying the hourly rate longer, their requirement was to start setup at 4:30 p.m. That being said, it's the hottest part of the day, and they had some safety concerns around their employees having a really hard time doing that. Whereas if we either have a different relationship with the county, or we are able to provide a longer payment, if you will, for the hourly rate for the fire marshals, then we wouldn't have that issue. It could be set up ahead of time and not have the safety concerns for their staff as well as our own volunteers and staff.
So what you're saying is last year, the reason they started late is because they didn't want to pay for that extra hour or
Yes, and because their employees were having heat-related illness, so they had to delay because of some of those concerns, is what my understanding is.
So if something would happen at that time, who would be responsible for something?
Ultimately, the city is responsible for all liability for any event that takes place. That's why we are so thorough in any type of, because ultimately it becomes. We have.
Motion by Member Gonzalez, second by Councilmember Gutierrez. Madam Clerk.
Mayor Yon,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Cano, Councilmember Gonzalez.
Aye.
Yes. Councilmember Gutierrez.
Aye.
Motion passes.
On to the fun stuff, the administrative agenda. I expect our council members to ask about 15 questions each. Plan to have a long one today. I'm just kidding, Jonathan. Here. All right, report and discuss the city of McFarland preliminary operating budget for fiscal year 25-26. So, we'll go item A, presentation by department heads, or how do you want to go about it, Diego? Council, do you want to ask questions afterwards or during? Okay,
Maybe section by section, if
we'll
that
go section.
works.
You know what, that'll be better in case we don't have to go all the way back. We'll go section by section.
Okay, all right. Honorable Mayor and Council, this is everyone's favorite time of the year, which I'm halfway joking, I'm halfway serious. I know it's a long presentation, but it really sets the stage for the next year and how we're linking council and the community's priorities to the limited resources that we have, and in others, some additional we have, and how we intend on priorities. Is to one budget. This was kind of force preparation. Then we'll dive enterprise fund view, and then the general fund. We'll go into the general fund and the enterprise, so that you're not hearing me, the department heads in here, and some of their. Then we'll dive in plan for the upcoming fiscal year, and then any questions that the public, I'll answer those. Some of the key budget principles: most responsible and balanced budget. That's at the core of everything that we do. At the same time, that we preserve services. Count it is to make sure that those key essential community, and we're not those services, and when possible, expanding on and make sure that the four is to: one, stable; two, infrastructure; ensure a neighborly and safe community; and at least always for an efficient and effective government. So just a snapshot of our general fund financial condition. We are projecting at the end of next fiscal year, with the if the budget were to stand as proposed, we are projecting a 15% unassigned fund balance, which is far below our target of 35%. Some of the short-term solutions, which have worked out greatly, Measure M and O. Had it not been for these two measures, we would be having a different conversation today. But that's just obviously the short-term solution. The long-term, we really need to look towards future commercial, residential, and industrial development, and really push on that. And as always, reviewing our organizational structure for any efficiencies. And the upcoming proposed budget will reflect investments in technology, because unfortunately we're not in a position to invest in an unlimited amount of staff. So because of that, we need to invest in technology to ensure that we're providing these services to the community as best as we can. Enterprise funds, the overall financial condition. A very how emergencies. Those in a some of those had some reserves on those emergencies. For instance, we're based on the anticipating a 20% expenditures, which is that target. This was mainly the emergency, which cost the city over $400. Thankfully, for these emergencies to overcome two emergencies. So we're working towards back those point that more strength can be better from an emergency may happen in that fund. And we had another emergency with the Browning Road well with our nitrate contamination. That thankfully the water fund was in a strong position to overcome that emergency, as well as some state assistance to continue operating that, as well as and a replacement well for the long overcome that emergency, building back to the target of 35%. So to fund some needs, revolving fund grant, as mentioned earlier, we did receive some funding on the water side for the replacement well. That's not the end of it. That's just the start. We still require quite a bit more infrastructure investment on the water side in order to secure our water independence for the long term, but it's a very good start. On the wastewater side, we're still working towards getting the wastewater expansion project back on the priority list. We've re-engaged with the State Water Resources Control Board, and discussions look positive, but we're still working towards and pushing towards getting that project back on their radar. Another option to meet the long-term needs is financing. That's something we're trying to avoid, and we're not in a position, especially the way our reserves are right now after those two emergencies that we overcame. Okay, diving into financials here. Oh, first, just a general overview of the general fund. This is the primary fund for the city's function. The uses of these funds are such as police and the primary revenues and conditional use permit fees. Yes.
Do you have the general fund, council questions? The water,
No, I don't have any.
I have no questions.
you forgot to add on, what was the amount? What was these,
We'll dive very briefly about 1.2 million annually, what the city was paying. Thankfully, we got some funds from the total cost of that unit was close to $700,000, but then that would eliminate that rental charge. That really gave us a lifeline for that.
I'd dive into it, but I just, that you made, people might be chiming in when they see the budget worksheet, they might say, I don't want to hear it anymore. But
Right. Okay. As far as the general fund, we have the 23-24 actuals, what we're projecting for 24-25, and then what we're proposing for next year's budget. As far as taxes, we do have some incremental increases, mainly due to the Measure O business tax. Fiscal year, we had about 9 to 10 months worth of data. So we're projecting an uptick in that next fiscal year, which is where you see that increase. For permit and service charges, we're proposing, or we're forecasting relatively stable, as we think the housing developments are going to stay about static. And of course, this is a conservative approach. If it exceeds our expectations, then that's great. Just forecasting wise, we like to be on the conservative side. And then grants and intergovernmental, we did have some one-time funds last fiscal year related to the CHP grant and the fentanyl funds. We don't project those next year, which is why you see that dip. However, we're still pushing towards for grant funding, mainly on the public safety side. So total revenues, we do forecast a dip from last fiscal year, just due to that decrease in those one-time grants that we don't expect next fiscal year. our operating costs, which we'll dive into the specific significant cost increases in the subsequent slides, but we do anticipate an increase there. And then our CIP, we do anticipate a small decrease there. Overall, an increase of about $1 million in total expenditures, which we'll dive into the details. Then total other sources, transfers in and out. We do anticipate an uptick there. That has to do with our SB1, our gas tax, our community facilities district revenues that are used to offset some of our operational costs. And at the end of next fiscal year, we do anticipate a deficit. However, our ending fund balance, we do project at $1.5 million or 15% of operating costs. The next slide just gives a breakdown of what comprises our general fund operating budget. 61% is public safety, 18% are support services such as finance, HR, and so on. 10% is community development, and 11% is public works. For our general fund operating revenues, as mentioned earlier, Measure M and O, which were not in existence just 3 years ago, make up 24% of the pie, which is a much different position than we are now. Any questions on the general fund?
Open up.
No question.
Gonzalez?
Questions?
I got one. At what the 20, as far as it bringing in with the two measures
Is $6 million.
nice.
Measure M is outperforming our initial expectations. We thought originally that would be 500 and 600,000. That's performing over $1 million a year steadily. And Measure O was really the wild card. We had no idea how that was going to perform. So we're projecting that around 600,000.
It's just like you to say that because a lot of people before said it wasn't going to work. But thanks. I don't have no further questions.
Okay. Moving on to the enterprise funds. The best way I explain the enterprise funds is that they should operate as a standalone business. We have user fees that are charged, and then to offset our operating costs. So we adjust those user fees as those costs increase, which is why we have the utility rate studies. So our main enterprise funds, or all of our enterprise funds, are water, sewer, public transit, and refuse and recycling. So for the sewer fund, the revenues, we made a slight uptick in revenue, $2 million total. We do anticipate the capital projects, mainly that emergency situation last year. That's one of the big reductions in our capital projects. So we do anticipate an overall decrease in total expenditures, the $2.2 million. And then transfers in and out, which mainly have to do with our indirect cost allocation to offset the administrative support. And we do have a slight deficit, mainly due to our capital improvement projects, much of which will be funded with development impact fees or other grant sources. Overall, we anticipate fund balance for 20 expenditures. That 30 that emergency that we had to handle. You have a plan to a few years work towards that target. Thankfully, we have an updated utility rate study, so those updated rates will ensure that we get back to the target that we have. Over to the water fund, there's a significant increase in revenues that we're anticipating. The grant funds that we expect placement well. The total funds awarded from the State Water Resource Control Board were $8.5 million. We don't anticipate spending all of that or incurring all those costs next year, but a significant portion of the construction should be completed next year. As far as operating costs, we do anticipate a slight decrease in operating costs, mainly due to, and we do have some costs that we had last year that we no longer have this year, which your lease will go over. Then our CIP project uptick there is related to that replacement well project. And then our transfers in and out related to our indirect cost allocation. And overall, we will have a deficit next fiscal year, mainly due to the capital projects. Once again, will be funded, much of which will be funded by development impact fees or other sources, and an unrestricted fund balance or reserve of $479,000. But just like the sewer, we're confident that, in the subsequent track to get back to that 30. This will still be at 20%. And refuse, we do contract manage essentially a operation. We want for any issue, emergencies that we may encounter, but since we're outsourcing that operation, any of those costs associated to an emergency are very minimal. Actually, here we're at a break-even point. The way we structured the would take us 5 years from deficit to the positive. So now we're at year 3 of those really turning being on the positive route. And the transit fund, another break-even operation. It's mainly funded through grants, through TDA, our STA grants, and Federal Transit Authority. So this is essentially a break-even operation. Any questions from council?
Any questions for the enterprise fund? We'll start with Mr. Gutierrez.
I have no questions from there.
Ms. Gonzalez.
On this transit, you said it's a break even, and that's a normal practice, sir, that we just break even like that?
Yes,
Okay.
because fully funded by grants.
Okay, thank you.
And there's plenty of transit funding out there. So, yeah. So any remaining TDA funds that aren't used on transit needs, since we're a smaller community, we can utilize that on roads.
Okay. Thank you.
No further questions. We'll keep on proceeding.
All right. Some of the citywide summaries here, just to get a snapshot at a high level. Number of budgeted positions, 74, which is staying static with previous years. Overall salaries and benefits are at $8.3 million next fiscal year, which is comprised of wages at 5.9, taxes at 400,000, benefits at 1.5, and workers' comp at 400,000. Staffing overview by fund. The general fund by far has most of the positions, mainly due to the police department. It has around 30 or so. So total general 50 full-time sewer 5, water 9.5, 2.5 over 2 for a total. Then we have the cost breakdown by fund. Now this graph is a staffing overview of our overall citywide personnel costs and the increases year over year. So this includes all personnel costs, salaries, benefits, taxes, you name it. And other citywide costs in the budget include the fire services contract. The topic, the current fiscal year, total cost is $956,000. Next fiscal year, that'll go up to $1.1 million, and 1.3, and then eventually 1.5. And workers' comp and liability insurance,
Hold on, Diego.
yes.
City Clerk, Vice Mayor just arrived at 3:42. Go ahead, Mr. Viramontes. Okay. We'll fill him in.
This is year over year increases in our workers' comp and liability insurance. This is another item that we're seriously focused on evaluating. You're talking from fiscal year 22-23, it started at $462,000. The next fiscal year is projected to cost $949,000. So we're talking a nearly double increase over the last 4 years. Then our citywide health insurance costs year over year, we've managed to keep this relatively stable due to some of the changes that the council approved and staff has implemented. But as always, we're looking at ways to be more strategic and stretch our tax dollars there. And then citywide electricity costs have stabilized over the past couple years. In 23-24, there was a significant uptick, but since then, thankfully, we've stabilized on those utility rates. Any questions from the council before we dive into the specific operating requests?
No, I have none.
Mr. Gutierrez, do you have any questions?
I have no questions.
Ms. Gonzalez?
No, I have none. Thank you.
I know you just arrived, Mr. Vice Mayor. Do you have any questions?
Comment on the citywide costs, electric costs. Have we looked into solar for like City Hall? Where's our most highest electrical bill, for example?
Good question.
We can look at that later. I'm just bringing it up.
Haven't necessarily dug in a lot into solar, but we have had discussions with PG&E as far as doing cost reductions or being in a different category for some of our wells or abandoned well sites, and also City Hall. When you use a certain amount of energy, you could be classified in different classifications, which will allow us to have any cost savings on power. But we could definitely look into any solar.
Thank you.
Yeah, and some of our sites do have solar. One of our well sites, the Garzoli well, and then our sewer plant as well, is ran off of solar, but we can evaluate other options as well.
And do you see a significant difference when you have the solar versus when we didn't have it?
I have to dig a little deeper into that.
Well, maybe to answer that question, I think, it's gone up from the last, since 22, 23, and even 22, 23, and when they installed. So I don't know if it's making a change or anything, because it's staying like average.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then when those agreements were in place, they did lock in a kilowatt rate, so that was much favorable than it would be now. So I'm sure it's a benefit to us because of the timing of it, but we can evaluate that further.
Two things, Diego, as far as impacting our budgets, the liability, the workers' comp, is that because we have more employees?
That's been the explanation, but Ms. Serena McEwen can probably, if she's around.
She
not?
had
Okay.
an emergency, so.
That's been the biggest reason for it. On the workers' comp side, just the cost of the claims have to do with that, the number of claims. And then on the liability, workers' comp and liability side, it's the payroll, and also the citywide assets. The valuation of our assets have increased, so liability insurance on those assets increase as well.
Well, yeah, I mean, we have a total of 74, but we've never filled this many positions like the years before, and so the injuries are going to come.
Right.
So.
And they don't just look at the number of positions; they also look at those wages. So as wages go up, obviously the workers' comp claims are going to be more expensive. So all of those factors play into it.
And then as far as the fire services, I mean, I guess we'll have that discussion in 27, 28, so. Okay, no further questions on this end. We're going to the request now.
All right. So we'll start with the general fund support services, which is city council, city admin, city clerk, human resources, finance and accounting, our non-departmental, and our IT. So starting with city admin, just an overview. Basically oversees the day-to-day operations, budget prep, personnel management, policy and procedure implementation, ensuring that our service standards are at the level that council expects, overseeing the capital improvement program, serves as an advisory role to the city council on policy matters, and just supporting council with implementing decisions and improving community services. So some of the accomplishments over the last fiscal year, which was really a combined effort. It's not really just one department. Every department plays a role in all of these high priority items. So I want to give credit to the entire team for some of these accomplishments. The big ones is reducing reliance on consultants by hiring staff internally. Prime example is our assistant engineer and project manager with street-related projects and facilities-related projects that are coming up. We're hoping that bringing that revenue in-house will make a significant difference in stretching our tax dollars. Another one is establishing and staffing a communications and marketing division to centralize outreach and branding. Previously, this division did not exist. Every single department head and their staff was doing their own communications and marketing, which was extremely time-consuming and quite frankly ineffective. This was one of council's priorities as well, as far as improving the messaging of what the city's doing, as far as the city services, is improving on that, and that's why we thought establishing this division was critical and has really been a success for the city. Another accomplishment is launching the high school and collegiate internship program to cultivate future public service talent. One of the priorities of council was, how do we build a pipeline of homegrown talent? So the response to that was creating these internship programs, showing students what city services are actually, or what the city's actually providing, what career opportunities there are within local government, and hopefully that translates to a pipeline of homegrown talent. Innovation and technology, and technology line operations, which and online, and implementing time road condition assessment. As far as public engagement and advocacy, we host business awards, strengthen community trust through transparency and communication, going back to that communication. And then we, when the mayor, regional advocacy, and built partnerships with the Water Board, Caltrans, others, resulting in increased funding opportunities. Some of the goals for the next fiscal year, as far as stabilizing city finances, as mentioned earlier, is focusing on commercial and industrial development, in particular the annexation areas, completing the sales and development of city surplus property, and back to the mayor's favorite topic, fire services, evaluating different options and how we can maximize and stretch our tax dollars. As far as sustainable infrastructure, completing the construction of the replacement well for Browning Road well and secure water independence. This is one step in the process, but we need to look at other options as far as ensuring water independence for generations to come. Designing and constructing major road projects, including Garzoli widening and pedestrian improvements. Push for reinstatement of the wastewater expansion project. Implement Pozo Creek flood mitigation. Design and secure funding for a project we've called McFarland 2040, which is a vision for future public facilities. We're starting that with the design of the new police building, but that's just the start. Throughout the city, there are facilities that are aging and require expansion and upgrading. So this really looks at the holistic view of all of our facilities needs. For public safety, as mentioned, designing the new police building and securing funding for the shortfall. Securing funding for public safety operations, including staffing, equipment, and infrastructure. Dedicated funding for cold case investigations and unsolved homicides. I know this is a huge priority of council. 26, correct me if I'm wrong, Chief, unsolved homicides that we inherited, and we're going to make every effort to which we'll see in the upcoming slides, to put funding and resources towards solving those cases. And lastly, but definitely not least, efficient and effective government, which includes fostering community partnerships, continuing investing in technology to improve efficiency and service delivery, and expanding on our internship program and workforce development initiatives. Now, as far as the numbers on the admin division, very minimal changes. The big one is moving the communications and marketing position out of administration and into its own division. And our community development director will go over in detail what those specific requests are when she's up. Next, I'll move on to the city clerk.
Good afternoon, Honorable Mayor and members of the City Council. So a little bit about my role that encompasses is City Council meeting agendas, minutes, and official records. It also includes overseeing municipal elections, ensuring compliance with the FPPC regulations, maintaining the city's records, and administering public records requests in accordance with the California Public Records Requests Act. So some of the key accomplishments that I've completed within my 10 months is I made some significant progress in both my professional development and the city operational efficiency. I've earned 21.75 credits towards my certified municipal clerk designation and received the California Professional Municipal Clerk certification through UC Riverside. Additionally, I became a commissioned notary public and obtained certification in fingerprinting. One of my key accomplishments has been the successful launch of the Next Request portal, transitioning the city from a paper-based public records request process to a fully digital platform. I've also provided training to mid-level managers on Civic Clerk, our agenda management system, and integrated it with the city's website and enhanced public access and transparency. Operationally, I've ensured timely preparation and distribution of agenda for City Council, subcommittees, and Planning Commission. I also improved the physical filing system by introducing new cabinets and shelving, while organizing and labeling all City Clerk records and enabling faster and more efficient document retrieval. Okay. So some of my goals for 2025 and 2026 include continuing to pursue my certified municipal clerk certification, building on the progress I've already made. I also plan to implement a citywide schedule for the regular destruction of records at the department level. For example, I've scheduled 243 boxes for shredding next week, as those documents have period. Lastly, I'm preparing to general election, ensuring it's conducted efficiently and accurately in full compliance with all legal requirements. Okay, so let's jump into the significant operational changes. One key request is the onboarding of Laserfish, an electronic records management software that will enhance support for our essential services. The system will allow us to transition from a paper-based process to a fully digital platform, enabling us to upload, organize, and manage documents more efficiently. It allows to help ensure compliance with our records retention schedule by facilitating the review and deletion of records with appropriate approval in place, of course. It's important to note that the cost listed reflects only the first year onboarding. After implementation, the ongoing costs annually will be less than 4,000, depending on the number of users. Another important request is the purchase and installation of shelving for physical records stored in the city's C-Train unit. Currently, many of these records are kept in boxes stacked on top of one another, creating a safety risk and making retrieval difficult. Installing proper shelving will significantly improve organization and accessibility and safety for staff working with physical records. And that is all. Any questions?
Council, do we have any questions for our city clerk? Start with Ms. Gutierrez.
I have no questions.
Ms. Gonzalez.
No, just congratulations on those credits that you've earned so far.
Thank you.
Good luck with that. Thank you.
Vice Mayor.
No questions.
No questions for me.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you so much for your exceptional work this past year.
10 months. 10 months. That's pretty fast.
You know,
Dang, I know.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'll briefly walk through my Department of One. So as some of you may know, my department plays a vital role in supporting city operations and employees. I manage recruiting efforts, benefits, employee relations, overseeing labor compliance and risk management. I help lead the training and development efforts and maintain personnel policies and evaluations. These are my core responsibilities to help ensure a stable, compliant, and engaged workforce. So some of my, this past year, we've achieved some milestones. Successfully launched an internship program that's created career pathways and has helped build our future talent pipeline. For recruitment and outreach, we've expanded our outreach and refined job postings, resulting in higher quality and more diverse applicant pools. We've introduced an employee check-in tool to help improve communication and feedback through with staff. And then finally, through an operational review, we assessed our clinical and pre-employment services to identify opportunities for streamlining and improving our hiring processes. Looking ahead, we've got several objectives. More specifically in workforce development and recruitment, our goal is to secure funding through workforce and DEI grants to support stipends and mentorship opportunities. We're also evaluating and expanding our recruitment resources to better reach qualified applicants and ensure equity in hiring. For employee engagement and recognition, I'm planning to build an internal appreciation program with monthly recognitions, peer-nominated awards, and an annual appreciation week designed to help foster a more stronger and more positive work culture. And finally, in the benefits modernization, I'm aiming to simplify benefits administration by possibly partnering with a new broker and launching a digital benefits portal along with quarterly education sessions to improve employee understanding and access. Some of my operating changes, there's no significant costs projected for my department. So in closing, my focus continues to be on building a responsive, inclusive, and forward-thinking HR function that not only meets the needs of today, but also prepares for the workforce of tomorrow. And that's all I have. I'm open to any questions.
Council, we'll start with Ms. Gonzalez. Any questions, concerns, comments?
No, just nothing but just good job on what you're doing and appreciate all that you do.
Thank you, Ms. Gonzalez. Mr. Gutierrez?
Also, good job what you're doing, and I really like that you're gonna launch that recognition system.
Yeah.
Sorry, that it's needed, and I know that from every job, everybody wants to get recognized, and especially from their peers.
Absolutely.
Vice Mayor?
No comments, no questions. Thank you.
No, continue the good work, Serena. I know you're Department of One, but you actually foresee the whole city, and obviously with Megan on board, you guys could, I won't say help each other, but support each other. So, no, thank you. Continue the good work, and we'll keep on moving forward.
Okay, thank you. I'll pass it over to finance.
Good afternoon, Honorable Mayor and Council. To introduce myself, I'm Jonathan Arceo, and I'm the Finance Manager for the Finance Department. And I'd like to just go over briefly some of the items that Diego has walked through earlier in the presentation, but a little bit of our focus in the finance department. Some of those are to create financial stability, supporting long-term financial stability and enhancing trust, financial administration, managing all financial record keeping and reporting, budget and financial statements, compiling and producing the city's fiscal budget and financial statements, debt and treasury management, which is overseeing debt, treasury management, internal audits, budget control, and purchasing accounting activities, and support and advice, so providing financial support and advice to city departments, the city manager, city council on financial issues, and strategic planning. So going over some of our fiscal year accomplishments, one of the greatest accomplishments that we finished out this fiscal year was our continuing efforts of completing our timely audits for the fiscal year 23-24. That's something that's a high priority for ourselves. Doing a timely completion of the TDA triennial audit for the fiscal years 22 and 24. Completing on a timely basis the fiscal year 2025 and 26 budget. And working and renewing our business license renewals for fiscal year 24-25. So something a little bit different from the previous years, establishing an improved process to complete those business license renewals on a better timely basis. Some other accomplishments include reducing our utility revenue aging by nearly 50% from the prior fiscal year. This is a significant increase compared to the previous fiscal years before we started shutoffs. So we also implemented an online utility payment portal, something that's on our website right now, where we currently have about 22% of our residents on there making their online payments, but an extensive portal that allows improve on account management and utility resources as well. One of the biggest impacts for the city staff and interdepartmental departments is we implemented an electronic timekeeping system, which is a fancy word for improving our payroll system electronically, rather from what we were doing a couple of years back and the previous fiscal year on doing manual payroll entries and payroll timesheets. So this is an efficient measure that was a group effort, team effort between all departments, and really created efficiency within the finance as well. Lastly, we implemented a digital vault system to enhance deposit efficiency, security, and reconciliation accuracy. So something different from what we currently have, where we have a physical vault. We now have an improved digital vault where we're able to deposit and receive our deposits immediately next day. And so we have a better efficiency when we're wanting to reconcile. Some of our department objectives of initiatives for this coming up fiscal year, it's to complete our fiscal year 24-25 audit within 6 months following the fiscal year. We have an audit date as established already, and our goals are continuously to improve and meet those deadlines. Next is to develop and issue our first quarterly financial reporting to council and to the public. Implement an electronic business license administration portal, something we're working co-hand with our community development department and Megan on our licensing and our permitting technologies there. We're also looking to implement an enhanced meter reading software. So something that has been a continuous talk for the previous years on how we can create efficiency and improvement on billing for our residents and collections as well for the city. This is something we are looking to implement within the next fiscal year. We are continuously looking to improve our department policies and procedures, making sure we're meeting compliance and keeping up with our GASB requirements for accounting. And we're establishing and implementing a month-end close process, something that will help reconcile, help make sure we are providing transparent records to the council and the public on a timely monthly basis. And lastly, we're looking to establish and authorized utility payment locations throughout the city. So aside from having our various online options, our payment over the phone, our current options of paying at City Hall and mail drop box, looking for other ways to have secure, authorized payment locations. During the weekend, closing, and to report some of our significant operating changes from the previous fiscal year. The biggest increase is our this next fiscal year having a full year of our county clerks, our clerks up in the front that assist with the utility billing and any of those services pertaining to resident services. Having a full year with them on staff. The previous year we had we hired where in between the years, so we didn't really have the full staff capacity for the full fiscal year. But this year we will have those staff on hand. And then the business license portal that I mentioned that works coincide with the community development improvements, which is GovWell, where it's a business license subscription fee as well of $6,500. Besides that, I'm open for any questions if council or public have any questions.
Mr. Gutierrez?
I have no question.
Councilman Gonzalez?
No questions, just the fact that, just to say that you've been dealt some tough, you've come into something that was really challenging for you in the beginning, and you handled yourself very professional and taken care of it in a timely manner, and I appreciate all that you've done to take care of all that, and these new things that you're bringing to the table is really good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Vice Mayor?
No question.
Jonathan, good job. I expect hopefully this year we don't have any findings on our audits. I mean, I'm trying to still get that award. Well, obviously you guys will get that award for outstanding financial records for the city. I mean, it's like Ms. Gonzalez said, it wasn't a simple challenge. It's like moving mountains. What you guys had to do for those couple of years with the staff and not having the material and all this other stuff. But kudos to you guys, and as we can tell, like the department is pretty much staying together, working together, and we continue the good work.
Thank you.
All right. Any other questions?
No.
Okay. Thank you, John.
All right. Thank you.
Oh, just to add one other thing, Jonathan brought when we had the Great Festival, he brought a good team of Royal Rangers to basically secure and help out with the staffing and volunteering. Just wanted to add that because it hasn't been addressed, but we'll be addressing it in June.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Good afternoon, Honorable Mayor and Council members. I'm here to go through the Community Development Department within the General Fund. This department encompasses planning, building inspection, grant administration, and the newly separated communications and marketing. The key focus for this fiscal year, I came in the middle of the fiscal year, but the key focuses have been operational efficiencies and serving the public to the best of our abilities, and ensuring transparency and working closely with the members of the community on each project, trying to walk them through step by step. Okay, so to start, we're going to go through planning division. Technical assistance, the senior city planner provides guidance to the council, planning commission, as well as the public on any developments, helps keep us within regulatory compliance on those items. Entitlement applications processes all development requests and entitlement applications. City plans and codes updates and maintains the general plan, zoning code, and development-related ordinances. Basically, any new project within the city or any new developments, she assists in planning. The key accomplishments for this year: processing multiple TUPs, final maps, parcel maps, site plans, and lot line adjustments. Successfully completed 2 annexations. Coordinated the city's first annual Grape Festival. Held ribbon cuttings for Velux, the EV charging station, the food truck park, and the medical plaza. Received a letter of completion from HCD for the 6th cycle housing element. Processed a land use contract non-renewal. and provided and reviewed and approved multiple ADUs within the community. The accomplishments also include assisting with the design of the food truck park and the process for all new applications, assisting all community members that wish to participate in bringing their food trucks to the park and through what that process looks like, walking them through step by step. Completed a dog park and sump pre-design to use in future funding opportunities, and has led community engagement for items for that grants submission, so we can use that for future funding opportunities. Updated ordinances, updated the fee schedule through a fee study, and attained comprehensive permitting software that will assist. This software is going to cover, as Jonathan mentioned, several realms within the city to ensure transparency and efficiency. The next fiscal year objectives and initiatives updates outdated zoning ordinances and city maps, establishes an ADU template for streamlining the process. That being said, basically putting something very straightforward. We have all of the steps to take, but giving a qualified plan that is designed with the city of McFarland in mind. I think that will be very beneficial for housing needs to come. Seeking grants for downtown revitalization, art installations, and transportation connections, and seeking training opportunities for professional development, and working through document retention. Many of the departments within community development has a new focus alongside the city clerk's initiatives to ensure that we continue to maintain our documents appropriately and streamline the process so it is available for the public as needed and easily accessible. The significant operating changes within this division is the planning subscription and contract engineering services, outsourcing that, and then additional training and travel. It is our hope to continue to support our senior city planner in future training and endeavors to continue to grow on her career. And that being said, the GovWell planning is something extremely beneficial. One of the items that we do right now, as an example, is when she is doing a site plan review, she's doing it manually, entering everything in, and in this GovWell software, she will be able to look at a site plan and go through it, mark it up, and send it back to the end user in one fell swoop. It's all within the process, as well as the end user is able to log in and see where they are in the process in real time. So we can be extremely transparent in the process, ensuring there's accountability as well. So we make sure that our staff is on track, everybody's on track, any third parties, we can send it out through that. So I feel it is a very invaluable resource. You guys have already approved it as a council collectively, but I want to reiterate the benefit of what we have done, and that is a large change there. And then also the engineering division, having that in-house, so that's an additional change for planning. On to building. Public safety and health, ensuring safety and well-being with a well-built environment kind of speaks for itself, but ensuring that we're following the codes to the letter of them. Plan reviews for building compliance, permit issuance, construction inspections, and code enforcement in the realm of building codes. And then educational outreach. There's a lot of community engagement within this position in this realm of the department. Some of the key accomplishments are issuing 409 permits with valuations totaling over $12 million, 1,303 inspections conducted, restructuring the department to achieve cost reduction and operational efficiency, implementing solar app to meet regulatory compliance with the state of California is critical that we meet this steps. So we have taken some immediate needs. Although we were working toward GovWell, we wanted to obviously meet the need of the state. So we implemented this, and these will work lockstep with GovWell, and will continue to streamline the process as it moves forward, but ensuring that we are in full compliance with the state's requirements for the immediate need. Moving the contract well, as I mentioned, with GovWell. This also one element of this that I believe we've touched on, but the online payment is also very beneficial for outside of the area contractors. At this time, they're having to come into City Hall to remit payment, or they would have to mail in a check. There's basically no other option, but this is allowing them to pay in real time. And then also working with the health department. The objectives for the upcoming year is to up the number of permits that we issue within a fiscal year. We have already moved forward to provide inspections 3 times a week, so we've already hit that objective. I'm pretty proud of that. It streamlines the schedule so our community members know what to expect and when to expect inspectors. Encouraging our building certifications and continuing ongoing education. Fully implement GovWell. We are very far in the process, but continuing on that and get us fully up and running. And reduce third-party spend. Right now, there is a pretty significant regard to third-party. However, it is a necessary evil to ensure that we continue on with efficient operations. Key focuses for the next fiscal year is to reduce that everywhere that we can. The significant operating changes within the building division, as I mentioned, third-party building inspection fees is a significant increase. However, on the same token, we have also reduced as far as transitioning our building official or building inspector to a development tech. The certifications hadn't been met at that time. We are still working with the staff member to move forward, but we saw an opportunity to streamline department, reduce cost, and move things forward in an efficient, effective manner. So there's both the give and the take in that realm. GovWell, as I mentioned, is a heavy lift as far as the subscription cost, but I do believe that we'll continue to see return on that investment. The other additional significant changes are the Title 24 books and then also a portion of our intern. Okay, in regard to the grants division, funding acquisition, finding as much funding as possible, community assistance, so both on the grants focus is surrounding McFarland-related endeavors as well as items that will help the community. Much like how we're looking for funding for critical needs for both the police department as well as public works, but we are also looking for things like the EV charging. So it's kind of a give and take with what we're trying to bring to the community as well as to operational needs. Some of the key accomplishments are the cannabis tax completion. We've also gone through several budget modifications for that. The Sherwood Apartments agreement, the Valadeo funds, and the EV Ready Communities Public Engagement, and then grant tracking improvements. We've come to a streamlined program so that way any individuals that are assigned to that can look at it in real time, know where we are on any layer of our funding. So, for instance, if Diego's in a meeting and needs to know where we are in a specific item, he can log into Teams and see it in real time where we are on that funding item. It just brings a layer of transparency and ensuring that we stay up to date on reporting, on application submissions, and anything that's been assigned to third parties. So if we have an item for public works, we can add that assignment and ensure that it's streamlined in that communication. The key objectives and initiatives for the next fiscal year is funding the police department. That is probably the key focus at this time. Transportation initiatives funding, drainage sump at Browning Road, CTC grant application, citywide beautification efforts, record retention and project management, and basically in summary of the grants division for the future initiatives is we currently have a projected $25 million in the queue for applications. We work collectively with other city departments to ensure that funding is not only secured, but the right funds are, as well as accurate and timely reporting and future funding for what we may need moving forward. Significant operating changes within this division is going to added cost for staff time for the grant manager herself, additional training, and we are also using self-help. That was previously approved in our consent items. We are moving that forward. There are some costs that are incurred by the city. Most of them are passed through or established within the grant, but this is the lift that is on the city's side for that. It will also help streamline as far as finance goes. It is a heavy lift for the finance department as well as storage of the documents. We were able to streamline this in its entirety, so the return on investment is most definitely there for this service. And last but not least, our communications and marketing. This is the new division within community development. The focus is to inform the public about city services, programs, and initiatives, promote transparency and building community trust, strengthening the brand and public image, supporting all departments with consistent and accessible messaging, and engaging the community through events, media, and digital platforms. We have been able to see an increase in social media engagement across all departments, promoting key initiatives of the Unsolved Homicide Database, This Week in McFarland series, and Cold Case Running video series. And we're continuing to focus on that, bringing resolve to the community members and to the families. That being said, there are significant endeavors that are coming with that, future grant opportunities and more promotion that you're going to see in the weeks and months to come. This individual has also launched a 10-day campaign. That was one of our trial things for the McFarland Great Festival to drum up engagement for the event, and I feel that it was wildly successful for the engagement both on social media as well as bringing in individuals for a new event. Promoting the food trucks and their vendors, creating a video series to help promote them and retain them. Supported the Innovate McFarland Economic Development website and help reintegrate the McFarland Real Estate Locator for business support. That item is extremely important for some of the initiatives that the council has pushed forward with vacant commercial properties. We are able to list them at no additional cost to the property owner and add it as a solution to them. Hey, we need you to get these cleaned up and also occupied, but this is something that we can offer them as a free service on our city website, and communications and marketing was able to move that forward at no additional cost to the city. Additional accomplishments is the McFarland Police Department Instagram and revitalizing the animal services presence, which is really important. There is a news article that I saw released off topic, but also on that endeavor where we were able to promote the work that they have been doing in that department and also some of their accomplishments in recent weeks. Managing the media live stream for all council meetings as we speak. Producing the video appreciation or employee appreciation video, publicizing city events, programs, and milestones online. And strengthen city's branding and with consistent and accessible content, and then messaging across all departments for a united front. We are establishing a brand, so everything will be status quo across the board for each department, ensuring that we keep it consistent and concise in our communications. The next fiscal year objectives is launching a monthly newsletter to share city updates and events, growing our social media presence, including a new LinkedIn for outreach and recruitment, enhancing recruitment campaigns and team culture and benefits, creating a bilingual communications toolkit, implementing a shared content calendar for all departments across the city, developing a citywide video strategy, hosting quarterly behind the scenes of each city department to help with our public being able to know kind of what each department is doing, and in-house video equipment to continue to improve our outreach endeavors. The significant operating changes for this are obviously with having staff. That is one of the biggest lifts within this. Upgrading the camera lenses, that was one of our initial asks. Adding city marketing materials and supplies for branding endeavors, and then subscriptions and different things to continue to benefit what we need to do, as well as achieve regulatory compliance for retention of data and the subscriptions, ongoing trainings, equipment, marketing materials, and all of the items that will assist us in regulatory compliance will also assist us in avoiding litigation or potential litigation surrounding First Amendment claims. When there's a benefit to having media, there's also some things that we have to address, and this individual is very aware of those items, and we're putting every safeguard in place that we can to ensure that we do not face those things. that, I'm open to any questions.
Council, I'll start with Mr. Councilman Gutierrez.
No questions, just thanks for all the work that you do.
Thank you.
Councilmember Gonzalez.
Again, no questions, just, in the short time that you've been here, you've brought a lot to the table, very impressive. Just looking forward to what else you have to bring, and all of this stuff that you've presented is very exciting, not only for us to see, but for the community as well. So thank you and good job.
Thank you.
Vice Mayor.
Oh, there's multiple departments in this, in one department, multiple people, and I think, it's amazing to see all the projects that are coming, and, thank you guys for that presentation.
Megan, absolutely. Just to reiterate what you're saying is you have different departments, but not a lot of people, but so you're trying to accomplish these things. I know the city's missed out on a lot of grant opportunities over the years. There's a couple things that I want to challenge your department is bringing some funding for the lighting and equipment at the Munoz Park and at Blanco Park. I know that we've had this discussion, but trying to get some of that funding, and also obviously the police department's a priority, but I think everything else, there's a couple things I want to commend on. Obviously on the bilingual toolkit, I think that's very important because a lot of complaints or concerns I got was they don't know what's going on when they go online if they can't attend the meetings. And I think that when it's being done in English and Spanish, a lot of people are like, okay, now we understand what's going on with the city. So that was good with the communication department. But absolutely, Meg, for the short time that you've been here, I'm going to give Nathan some kudos. I never do, but you know what I mean, for recommending and stuff like that. Well, I want to say, not sponsoring, but endorsing. But thank you, Megan. I know you have a lot of challenges, and also adding to taking on this festival thing. I think we could take it to the next level and make sure that we have those assurances and insurances when we have these festivals, and bringing it more and bringing more events to the community. So. We're providing those services so they can come out and see what the city's actually doing as far as the community engagement.
Perfect. Thank you.
And
Is the clicker right there, Chief?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. Want to make sure it's working, yeah, okay. Honorable Mayor, City Council, here to present General Fund for Public Safety. Public Safety incorporates the Police Department, Animal Services, and also Code Enforcement. So Police Services, Public Safety provides safety through uniformed patrol, traffic enforcement, and school safety. Criminal Investigation conducts criminal investigation to prevent themselves from becoming a victim. Public outreach engages the public in outreach service. Community Services serves over 15,000 residents here in McFarland with highly trained officers, dispatchers, support staff to ensure safe community. So, public safety accomplishments for this year: purchased 4 new patrol vehicles. 2 were budgeted and 2 were replaced from accidents. Not our fault. Hired a school resource officer for full-time. Conducted 4 DUI checkpoints. We had 1 homicide in the city this year, which was successfully solved within about a month. Corporal to focus on investigations. Acquired a new drone through donation through Dr. Hare. Did more and high-resolution cameras. Continued planning for a police station. We passed the post-background audits through an in-house background investigations team. Completed advanced and perishable skills training. Continued audits of our property and evidence rooms. And launched a cold case homicide video log with the help of city planning. So the objectives and initiatives for this upcoming year: hire an additional police officer, transition corporals into a full-time investigative role, encourage advanced training certifications for all staff, enroll dispatchers in post-certified dispatchers academies, continue DUI and accident investigation training for officers. We're going to order 2 additional patrol vehicles. One will be paid through the SRO grant from the McFarland Unified School District. Expand body-worn camera program with enhanced features, and implement auditing software for internal affairs and use of force tracking. So significant training. Oh,
No, you're good.
yeah, that's it. Okay. Significant operating changes. Second corporal, full year of dispatcher vacancies, full year of police officer vacancies, staffing requests, adding full-time police officer technician, basically compacting 2 part-time police officer technicians to 1 full-time. Adding a 3rd corporal. This will allow us to modify our staffing and realign our department so we have investigations unit. Just 2 officers who have to work patrol and investigations also. We have to add funding for our canine for our food and care, and a significant addition to our body-worn camera capabilities. So currently our body-worn cameras are about to expire here this year. They're all out of warranty. Each camera costs about $500 to replace. So if they get damaged, we used to be able to send them in and they'd fix them and send them back free of charge. That no longer happens. We also don't have any more space in our storage. So adding additional capabilities will give us unlimited storage with our body-worn camera units, which also increases public safety, transparency, and accountability. A couple of things that we would add with this. We have a taser contract currently with the same company, Axon. They would give us new tasers, even though they just gave us new tasers last year, but they wanted to make the contract all-encompassing at the same time. So they're going to provide new tasers upon the enacting of this contract, along with VR training, which we can train our officers in-house, and use of force tracking. So basically right now we do all of our use of force tracking through paper. Basically we go and we investigate all the use of force, write significant issues, and deal with whatever issues might come from our investigation. This will be online. So all the information kept for longer periods of time. This is also a capability of internal affairs investigations. Currently, all of our investigations, going back all the way to 2010, are on paper, and going through a lot of it, it seems that maybe some of that stuff might be missing throughout the years. So this will allow us to keep that there moving forward. Elimination of the part-time projects manager, and as I mentioned, the taser contract. So animal control provides professional and compassionate care for people and pets. Response works to prevent, disrupt, and end animal. Maintains a healthy shelter. Collected and abused dogs, not cats. Officers and neuter services to dangerous rabies. Code enforcement. Municipal property health and safety and land and use compliance. Community services provide services to maintain safe and business districts. Many of you may be parking enforcement, which has been ramped up throughout this last few months. That's one of the jobs of animal control, and also maintaining all of the use permits for not maintaining the use permits, but enforcing any illegal vendors. Accomplishments for this year for animal control and code enforcement: repaired and expand animal housing capabilities, installed automatic feeding and watering systems for safety of the officers as they feed. Many of you may know that we do have hybrid coyotes in the area, and when they cause a problem, they have to be housed. It's very dangerous to get in there and try to feed and clean that cage. Fixed drainage issues on the south side of the facility. Added safe and secure storage for dangerous medications. Separated exercise yard into multiple sections so multiple dogs could get out at one time. They attended multiple successful pet adoption events, like the recent Donut with a Dog, which was a successful event, coined by our own Diego Viramontes. Partner with shelters to rehome animals. Monitorized adoption paperwork and software systems. Now, this may sound like something insignificant. It was only a $300 program that allowed us to start tracking the dogs we have in our facility more accurately. Some of the paperwork was missing and just not kept up to the standards it should be. It also integrated the adoption process throughout multiple platforms. Merged animal control and code enforcement into one department, established a chain of command, and added an animal control and code enforcement manager, sent officers to training to update state standards, began updating department policy and procedure manual, and partner with the Kern County Public Health Department for illegal vendors and enforcement in our area and outside our jurisdiction. So objectives and initiatives for animal control: recruit volunteers to assist in the shelter with operations, encourage staff to pursue advanced training and certifications, train officers in animal vaccinations and humane euthanasia, remodel the dog walking area to improve public appeal and engagement, and build out the animal control facility to better fit our needs as a community. So the significant operating changes: we need to rebuild our interior of our animal control facility to have a exam room, an engagement room with animals, a break room for the officers, and also to house medication. Those have to be different and separate rooms. A full year of animal control officers, basically the manager, and combining the two departments. So code enforcement, basically we shifted some of the funds over to, or merged them so we could make both these departments work together. Nuisance abatement, training and travel. We're still in the process of getting everybody trained up to do all the jobs that are incorporated in that department. And some insignificant vehicle repairs. I'm available for any questions.
Council, we'll start with Councilmember Gonzalez. Do you have any questions, concerns, comments?
No, nothing right now. Just good job at what you're doing, and the fact that that's when it comes to policing, I think you guys are doing a great job. Once upon a time, there was a lot of negativity out there, and haven't heard anything in a long time, so doing something good. Thank you.
Councilmember Gutierrez?
No questions, but thank you for taking on these three different roles, departments, and I see the difference too in the policing. Thank you.
Vice Mayor?
I think the complaint we get, or I get, is that we have a lot of officers working hard out there now. People are getting pulled over and tickets are being written, and so that's a great job to hear. You know, people may not see it as a positive, but to keep the city safe, people need to stop at a stop sign or not speed through the street or through the city or drive under the influence. So great job out there. Thank you. Or park illegally.
Yeah. No, Chief. Still has some challenges and stuff like that. We got to address them, but like our council said, all three comments are good for policing the contacts, the stops, and then not hearing the complaints anymore. So, to some degree, but thanks, good job.
Thank you.
Now moving on to Public Works. The big money.
Good afternoon again, Mayor and Council. I'll be going over Public Works Department. I would start off with start off with the general fund or departments that are handled by the general fund, which is engineering, streets, community development, a community center, and facilities maintenance. So I'll start off first with the engineering department. So the engineering department is a department we just hired for this fiscal year. So the engineering department supports the design, planning, and delivery of key infrastructure projects for the city of McFarland. Like I mentioned, staffed by newly hired assistant engineer / project manager. The department focus for the engineer is roadway and transportation infrastructure, facility project coordination, grant compliance and Caltrans coordination, and project management support for city initiatives. So 2024, 2025 accomplishments for our engineer, infrastructure planning and analysis. We implemented road AI to assess the road conditions and priorities for repair, generator data to support upcoming road rejuvenation projects. Something I forgot to mention on this slide here is we're also implementing GIS, Geographical Information Systems, which I know when I first got hired, my first question was, where's our maps? Where's our plans? Where's our infrastructure? I think everything is hard copy or hidden in a binder somewhere in the shelf. Kind of how to piece those things together. So what we're able to do with GIS is put that all in one location. So if anybody needs to know where a sewer line is or a water line is or even a tree around the city, we're working to document all that through GIS. Professional growth and certifications. Our engineer attended the Caltrans Resident Engineer Academy and received a certification for that. I learned project management protocols for street and facility related projects. Interdepartmental collaboration, assisted in reviewing preliminary plans for the new police department, supported coordination on multiple street and capital improvement efforts. So obviously the goal is for our engineer to take upon doing any compliance with any grants that we have with Caltrans or transportation departments. Currently we outsource most of that, but the goal is for us to bring that in-house. So 2025-26 objectives and initiatives: independently manage all Caltrans funded and locally funded street projects, oversee the next round of road rejuvenation efforts, capital and facility support, assist the project management of the new police department construction, oversee the facility related capital projects across city departments. So just want to highlight a little bit on the police department construction. Our city engineer and myself will be taking upon the project management or construction management of the police station. So being able to do that in-house is a significant cost savings. Typically a construction manager, if we hired a company, would charge 2% of a contract. If the facility is $10 million, you're looking at $200,000 just for the construction management. So the plan is for us to do that in-house. Significant operating changes. Obviously, we didn't have an engineered position last year or the year before that. So establishing of an engineering division, which is $49,000. Moving on to the streets department. Street department is responsible for maintaining, repairs, and replaces streets, sidewalks, and public parking. Traffic management manages traffic signs and signals, and graffiti abatement, responsible for graffiti removal. Major improvements for the streets department. As you're all aware, we completed the road rehabilitation for Cliff, 5th, and San Lucas. Completed landscape on West Perkins. We for Slurry Seal and Reclamite project. We did the design, the in-house, and we also completed our HSIP Cycle 10 project, which had been kind of hanging out there outstanding for quite some time. So finally got that one completed. Maintenance and cost savings: placed over 100 tons of asphalt for pothole patching across more than 20 streets, and it's not just pothole patching; it's doing larger skin patches over a larger area of roads. Install rectangular rapid flashing beacons at Fifth Street and Robertson. $1,000. So on this project, closed out in-ground lights that constructed. We went for the RFB in lieu of the in-ground lights. Contractor was charging us a little over $40,000, and we were able to install it for, I think, a little over $15,000. So significant cost savings there. So 2025-26 objectives and initiatives for the streets department. Staff and operations are eliminating staffing shortages and improve employee retention. Purchase equipment to increase road maintenance and efficiency, which we just got approval earlier today for the patch truck. Road and infrastructure projects, complete the reconstruction of Sherwood and Perkins overpasses. So that is planned to be put out to bid as a bid alternate with this project that's coming up with the Valadeo streets. Complete HSIP Cycle 12 capital improvement project, which we received a successful grant through Caltrans. We're waiting for the approval to proceed on design. Finish construction of all Congressman Valadeo funded road projects, which design is getting wrapped up already, so we should be done with design at the end of this month and then proceed with bidding out those projects. Rejuvenate roads in good condition to extend life expectancy. We do have the plans and specs ready for a road rejuvenation project for next fiscal year. So as soon as this budget, if the budget gets adopted, we'll be ready to put that project out to bid to kickstart that at the beginning of next fiscal year. And also secure grant funding to continue road and repair and rehabilitation. And also implement the City Hall beautification plan. Significant operating changes, full year of assistant engineer / project manager, a full year of street vacancies, additional of temporary employees to kind of have a little safety net in case we have some turnover of staff to make sure we don't interrupt any of our services. Purchasing of Road AI, GIS, and Bluebeam subscriptions. Clothing allowances, I will highlight that. The clothing cost or the contract with Centus did increase quite a bit. We were able to negotiate that down a little bit to reduce the damage. So we did add an additional $1,000 there. Equipment repairs, that's a constant thing that we have to worry about, making sure our equipment's not sitting idle in our yard and keep it in top shape by providing any maintenance that we need. This is the big one, street sweeper repairs. Those are typically expensive. We've been able to kind of work around a little bit, try to get a cheaper cost for repairs, but we do want to have that safety net just in case the sweeper goes down again. Fuel, additional $5,000 for fuel. Vehicle repairs, $1,500. Operating supplies, $4,700, and street lighting, PG&E utility increases, $4,500. But like I mentioned earlier, there's a potential to have some cost savings through discussions with PG&E, so we're still working through those. So community center. We're responsible for maintaining and repairing the McFarland Veterans and Community Center, including the Veterans Center located here. We ensure operations, ongoing facility operations, collaborates with streets and landscaping team to provide a safe, clean, and inviting venue for the community and private events. Key accomplishments for the community center, provide a safe and clean facility for public and private events. 25-26 objectives and initiatives, promote additional use of community center for events, and ensure inventory matches rental agreements. So we did purchase quite a bit of tables and chairs this fiscal year. Obviously, we want to continue providing those and make sure we're maintaining those chairs or purchasing new tables or chairs that may have gotten damaged or have exceeded their useful life. Significant operating changes, contractor services, building and equipment repairs, operating supplies. One thing I'd like to highlight is I'd like to get a new fountain out in the front. I know we wanted to use that fountain for a couple events and wasn't the most what's the word I'm looking for? It didn't provide the wow factor, so I'd like to have a little bit something nice there, and yeah. So. Moving on to facilities maintenance. So facilities maintenance is responsible to oversee City Hall, police, and public works facilities located at City Hall, council chambers. Facilities operations ensure safe and clean and inviting environments. And collaborations, we work with the streets and landscaping maintenance team. 24-25 accomplishments. We installed new lighting and electrical outlets at the food truck park. Also, forgot to mention there, we had some water run to that location as well. So that was a big accomplishment to that location. Relocated 88 ramps at. We do plan to here potentially this upcoming fiscal year to make chambers. Repaired the WIC building and installed new tankless water heater. Made some upgrades and remodels for City Hall and PD. Public Works office remodel and storage area cleanup. Yeah, when I first arrived at the Public Works office, there's seemed to be very congested with, just random things and shelves, and we worked really hard to make it a nice, inviting place for staffs as an office space and also as a break room. So, replaced front gate keypad and added remote capabilities. And objectives and initiatives for 25-26. Provide a safe and pleasant environment for City Hall and police staff. Clean out and remove surplus equipment from City Yard. Repair and maintain community center LED sign. Significant operating changes, just having a full year facilities maintenance specialist. Moving on to enterprise funds and operating request, which encompass the sewer fund, water fund, refuse and recycling, and public transportation fund. So starting off with the wastewater department, we're responsible for providing efficient and cost-effective wastewater collection and treatment, ensure wastewater treatment protects public health, operates in compliance with state and federal regulations, maintains sewer mains, manholes, lift stations, and other collection infrastructure. '24-25 accomplishment for the sewer department, upgrade lift station pumps at Hell Lane 2, installed an office trailer for staff, which serves as an office for our supervisor and also a break room, completed Lagoon 1 emergency repairs and liner and leak below the blower, purchase of a crane truck to reduce service charges and remove sludge from Lagoon 1. And I'd like to highlight, well not highlight, but to mention that the Lagoon 1 emergency did take a big toll on some of our plans that we had for any accomplishments for this past fiscal year, but we plan to roll over those CIP projects this upcoming fiscal year and hopefully tackle them without any emergencies happening. '25-26 objectives and initiatives. Obviously, the biggest one here is securing funding for the wastewater treatment expansion plant. As Mr. Viramontes mentioned, we haven't re-engaged with the State Water Board on starting the process to get us back on that priority list. So staff and consultants alike are pushing hard to make sure that happens. Complete the design for the wastewater expansion project. Procure and install a new metal building for storage and vehicle parking. Begin construction of a wastewater expansion project and eliminate staffing shortages and retain employees. Significant operating changes, full year of wastewater operator vacancies, overtime, that was a big part and due to the Lagoon 1 emergency, clothing allowance, training and travel, contract services, equipment rental, fuel, building and equipment repairs, and vehicle repairs. There's also a decrease in professional services due to the completion of the emergency repairs, decrease in repairs due to the completion of the San Juan lift station. Yeah, so just to touch on those, the amount of decrease is $380,165 in professional services. And then repairs of the San Juan lift station, a reduction in $52,621. Moving on to the water department. So, water department manages the municipal drinking water system for over 15,000 residents. We ensure a safe and reliable supply of high-quality drinking water and serves residential, commercial, industrial, and institutional customers. So 24-25 accomplishments. Completed over 120 meter changeouts and 50-plus shut-off valve repairs. Repaired chlorine injection system at storage tank. Replaced valve at storage and Garzoli intersection. Fixed acid injection system at Garzoli well and service skid. Installed new compressor and performed preventative maintenance at well 6. Met all state mandated water quality testing and reporting requirements. Maintained positive pressure across the entire system. Maybe a couple exceptions, but for the most part, we did our best to keep the pressure up. Installed a reverse osmosis treatment facility at the Browning Royal well to address nitrate contamination. So Water Department 25-26 objectives and initiatives. Upgrade the existing water well sites and storage tank equipment. Complete the Elmo test well and begin construction of the production well. Grade certifications for water operators and supervisors. Maintain constant water pressure throughout the city. Eliminate staffing shortages and retain employees. And perform preventative maintenance at water infrastructure. Significant operating change. We had a full year of a water supervisor, water operator vacancies, fuel, equipment repairs and maintenance, and water. And the big one here is decrease in equipment rental, Browning Road, RO, as a $130,000. We're really at long term because that was put in our water funds. Refuse and Recycling Department, as Mr. Veramontes mentioned, we do contract this out, but they are in the waste collection and recycling, service outsourced to waste management, implements waste reduction and recycling programs, ensures compliance with relevant regulations, educates the public on waste reduction strategies, contributes to the city's sustainability goals, and promotes a clean, healthy environment. And significant operating changes is an increase to support essential services, an increase of 2.55% CPI increase to waste management rates, a total of increase of $1,000. And public transportation dial-a-ride. Transportation Department offers curb affordable transit services, specifically designed for individuals with disabilities. Available to the general public of McFarland. Free of cost, yes. So 2024-25 key accomplishments was provided on-demand rideshare services with a 6-person van. As you're aware, we hired a new transit driver this year, Jaime. He's been pretty good about jumping on board, learning the ropes, and provide uninterrupted services to our residents. 25-26 objectives and initiatives, purchase 2 electric vans, position for a second driver to ensure uninterrupted transportation services, and eliminate staffing shortages and retain employees. So the big one here is it's difficult to find drivers with to have that GP to if there anybody a goal. So changes, full year of second transit driver, hopefully having an addition of a second driver, fuel for second transit driver, vehicle got into the
Just the fact that you have has really been so beneficial for McFarland, and the fact how it unfolds and how it benefits us, it's just huge, and thank you for everything that you've done for us.
Thank you.
Councilmember Gutierrez?
Well, just great presentation. Luckily we have somebody like you to handle all this with the water and the waste and sewer and transportation. But good job. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Vice Mayor?
It's just great.
Yeah, great presentation. You're there, but I like how you and your staff address things quickly. I know we still have like challenges in every department. We're not perfect, but it's such a different environment in this city in regards to public works. Is if they're not complaining about the policing, they're complaining about the potholes, and they don't see everything else what it entails to actually govern the city or run a city. But yeah, but thank you. Good job. Continue the good work.
Appreciate it.
We're at the home stretch here, I promise. Thank you guys for hanging in there. We're almost there. So, move on to our last two sections, starting with the capital projects. Again, none of these should be big surprises. Many of these are rollover projects with a few new projects. Here's a snapshot over the next 5 years, what our 5-year CIP looks like for each division, both in the general fund and every other fund, sewer, water, refuse, and transit. And I'll dive into some of the carryover projects from last fiscal year and the new projects that we're proposing for the upcoming fiscal year. Some of the general fund carryover projects include everyone's favorite project, the new police department facility. We're currently in the design phase, as Yearly's mentioned, so we've allocated $340,000 to get that project rolling. We're still evaluating some grant opportunities, so we have not exhausted those funds or incurred any costs or significant costs other than preliminary design, but we're carrying over that project because that is still one of the top 5 priorities for the. And then we have all of our projects that we're carrying over. The bulk of funded through either SB1 or TDA. We see the long list there of the Valadeo funded street projects that Yearly's was referring. And then we have the McFarland Sustainable Communities projects at $8.8 million that relate to the Garzoli widening and as street lighting. So total street projects, we have $11.8 million, all of which are funded through grants or SB1 and TDA funds. So these are all, we intend on carrying over all of these projects to next fiscal year, much of which the design work has already begun on. Some of the new requested funding for next fiscal year for city buildings and facilities, we have the big ticket item, the new police department, which we have every intent to complete the design work. Construction design is almost complete. I think over the next couple of months we should be done here and ready to bid that out. We have the goal of breaking ground by the end of the calendar year, and we intend on meeting that goal. As Erica mentioned, Laserfish for electronic document management, we have that for $19,000. And as Yearly's mentioned, the council chamber interior improvements, these are minor upgrades, nothing major, just flooring, some of the countertops, staining, and so on, some paint, just upgrading slightly the council chambers is what, just to give it a little, making that since we're going to $1,825. The animal control building remodel as the chief. We anticipate that, again, we're gonna do internally. A small, that's estimated. And then citywide, we're a lot in technology and adequate works to power all of that software. Many of our workstations are nearing its useful life, or they just don't have the capacity to run all these different programs. So it's a combination of workstations or upgrading the memory capacity. So overall citywide, that's the initial estimates are about $90,000 to upgrade workstations citywide. This includes PD, Public Works, and City Admin. So total costs related to city buildings and facilities that we're requesting for next fiscal year is $7.3 million. The bulk of that, 7.1, to the police facility. Our project, most of these are grant funded or B1 and TDA. This is the construction portion. We're nearing the completion of the design portion, and we intend to complete the construction in the fall of next fiscal year. So that's what all these project requests represent. So total project costs related to streets projects is $6.5 million. And for the enterprise funds, here's a list of the carryover projects from last fiscal year. As Yearly's mentioned, due to the sewer system emergency repairs that we had to conduct, we put many of these on pause, even though they were approved with last fiscal year's budget. So we're requesting that we carry these over to next fiscal year. That includes just fleet replacement, the metal building, emergency generator, skid steer, SCADA upgrade, and PLC and pump control panels for a total of $567,800. And for the water system, we're requesting to carry over the emergency standby generators at Garzoli Well, $425,000. The PLC and SCADA upgrades at Garzoli Well, fleet replacement, and begin the test well process for a new well for expansion, which will be funded through development impact fees. And lastly, the Browning Road well replacement project, which is funded by the State Water Resources Control Board, for a total water system improvement cost of $1.4 million that we're requesting is carried over to next fiscal year. And then for transit, the new transit station, this is all grant funded. As far as the design work, the design work's actually complete at this point, and we're awaiting additional funds for the construction of that transit station. So we're requesting that project get rolled over to next fiscal year. As far as new projects for 25-26 in the enterprise funds, for sewer, fleet replacement, replacing a vehicle for $45,000. The metal building, since we did push that off a year, there are added costs to that of $27,000. The emergency generator, again, since we pushed it off, added costs of $5,000. Skid steer, again, added costs of $8,000. And then SCADA upgrades as well, an additional $50,000. And then Rover pipeline camera, which Yearly's can give more details on the need for that piece of equipment.
Rover camera is a camera that is able to go down into sewer lines and see if there's anything that's being clogged up. As you guys may recall, this past year we found a few chunks of asphalt that fell into the sewer line some way, somehow. We had to get a company to come out and do their own camera system and give us the video, but that was a significant cost. So if we could do that in-house, if there's any blockages in any sewer lines, it'll be great to have that camera. So we can utilize that.
Then we have the wastewater line to the east side at Taylor, which is critical to connecting our future industrial area and annexation 18 to our system, which is the majority of that is grant funded through Valadeo's community project funding. So we're requesting that funds towards the design work of that project of $55,000. So total sewer system improvements, new funding that we're requesting is $260,000. As far as water system, we have the Garzoli well media filtration cleaning of $85,000. The RO media filtration system over at the Browning Road well, $28,000. Fleet replacement, $45,000. New well for expansion of $2.2 million. And the Browning Road well replacement of $6 million for a total water system improvements budget of $8.3 million. Then for public transit, we are proposing the purchase of one of the two needed electric transit vans, which are funded through LC Top funds, and 40 questions.
Council, anybody have? I'm glad that the majority of these are that's with the no match. Not used to that when I started council, but then not having a break room when they built that animal shelter.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even need to ask that question.
Right.
Because we got some related buildings around here, the same thing, but I'll leave that at that, so. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, nothing else, Diego.
All right. Moving on to staffing, just an update on our vacant positions. Most of the cost increases throughout all of the operating budgets relate to staffing. We have experienced some turnover over the fiscal year. So here's just an entire list of all the vacant positions that have been authorized by council in the past, which include a police office tech, 3 police officers, police corporal, building inspector, 2 wastewater operators, water supervisor, a transit driver, street maintenance, a street sweeper, and then a promotional accounting supervisor and accounting clerk 2. So I've got the status of these positions. Most of these are in backgrounds and we're actively filling. So great kudos to our HR director to move on that quickly. But this is just a snapshot of where we stand right now in our vacant positions. As far as new staffing requests, which were included in the operating budget requests, full-time police office tech to compact the 2 part-time positions, cold case investigator, which this will be a part-time position to make some progress on our unsolved homicides, a police corporal position, which is a promotional position, essentially an internal police officer will hopefully be promoted into this role, and we will not backfill that police officer position. And then an administrative assistant 3 position, which is promotional. And then proposed staffing reclassifications. We're proposing that we reclassify our communications and records supervisor from range 30 to range 38 in line with all other supervisor positions. This will allow this individual to continue their growth within the department, and the overall cost per next fiscal year is about $8,500. With that, I'm open to any questions on this section or any other sections that council or the public may have.
All right, I'm going to open it up. Before we get to the council, we're going to open up to the public. We have one person if they have comments, questions regarding the presentation. Okay, no worries. Thank you. I'm going to close the public comment. I'm going to start with Councilmember Gutierrez regarding the presentation.
No questions, just a great presentation by all of you guys. Thank you.
Councilmember Gonzalez?
This is, I like the fact that it's very detailed, very clear, very transparent, and none of this could have happened without the team that you have. It's, I'm so impressed with the professionalism, the knowledge, and the fact that you guys are all looking out for the finances, you know, making sure where we can save this and save that. And I don't think I've ever come across a team that has had this magnitude of experience and knowledge. And thank you. Thank you all for what you do.
Thank you.
Vice Mayor?
I think my only question is, can anyone work for free? No. It's Saud's favorite word, right? Great job. I mean, what can I say? It's a great presentation, great budget review. I think this is, I believe it's our second or third budget review that we've seen that's pretty accurate and pretty, and if we look at it, like Mayor said, is a lot of it is grants. It's free, you know, free to the city, you know, not to the taxpayers, but and it's great. It's great to see all these projects, all this greatness. I know it seems like a lot, but it is. But I have no questions, just compliments. Thank you, everyone, for working on this together.
Yeah. I just want to echo council member. It's taken us 5.5 years that's been on the council, and it's been a challenge to get the trust and the confidence, not only from the state reps, but federal reps. When you say congressman funding, it's actually our taxpayers' money. Mm-hmm. So it's a grant that we're actually paying. And when you guys write those proposals, we deliver that message. And then obviously for completing audits, having fiscal responsibility and having budgets that make sense, not a copy and paste, and just building that trust. And like we always like to speak, our city's headed for a brighter and better future. And these grants, that's why it's important for an underserved community to continue this growth until we build our economic development. And obviously, from our attorney to all the department heads and staff, you know, we're going to have our hiccups, we're going to have our challenges, including our council and myself. But as long as we own our mistakes, that's what I respect the fact. But if we're trying to do the best thing for our community, we make a mistake, it happens. None of us are perfect, but this presentation just keeps on getting better and better. I know it's 3 hours long or somewhere around there, but try not to add too many questions and stuff. And I know it's a workshop, but Diego, it's a good team that we all formed as a team. So, and that's credited to all of us doing our part as far as the council and as department heads, and continue that progress and change the culture. And it's been changed. You know what I mean? And it took a couple years to alleviate from some of the individuals that were here. So, anyways, with that, thanks for the workshop. It's not an approval, but it's just a workshop, and we'll continue to move forward with it. But all the requests, I don't see any denials, so department heads should be happy.
So if there's no additional adjustments to the budget at this time, we do anticipate budget adoption at the next council meeting, so June 11th. Correct me if I'm wrong, City Clerk, but that's what we're targeting for adoption, which is amazing. But if there's any comments from now to that point, feel free to let me know, and we can incorporate that into the budget.
Okay. Thanks again, department heads, and I really like the fact that, I know last year we might have, but I like the fact that each of you are coming up and asking for your request and articulating what you need as far as your staff and adjustments for the funding. But thank you, Diego, for allowing that. We're gonna end up with public comment. Members of the public wishing to address the council about any item not on the agenda may do so at this time. Speakers are limited to 2 minutes. 15 minutes total will be allowed for any one subject. Please say your name and record before making presentation. Madam Clerk, do we have anybody?
There are none.
Mr. White, would you like to come up and? That's perfect. You can do what you want, Mr. White.
Jim White, 364 Cliff. Thank you for the council members and the staff and the mayor. I'll give you an update on our race that we had. I think everybody enjoyed it, had a good participation. We had about 375 runners. I think I attribute a lot of that to being connected to you guys and your festival. And so I appreciate that. And our policemen helping out, Paul and Diego, and especially Erica and Jonathan, and they're taking charge of the finances, which I don't like to deal any money. But I was able the 20th to give $9,000 in scholarship from our foundation just the other night. So I think a lot of that has been blessed, and I thank you guys for taking over the financing part of it. I do appreciate that. I just picked up, well, before that, let me get into another one. I think we have a resurrection of our movie. It's been 10 years, and I went to the Maya Theater and got them to get permission from Disney for a June the 7th showing. 2 showings, a 1 o'clock and a 7 o'clock. So you're all invited. I can't pay for your way. You have to pay for your own way.
Oh, come on.
But I don't get any money from it.
$25.
I don't get any money from it. That's okay. But they will allow me to sell a few hats and shirts and things like that, I think, if we have the need. So anyway, that's coming up. I just this afternoon picked up 200 shirts that I ordered for the after-school program for the kids, 4th, 5th, and 6th grade kids. They're going to take them to the movie on the 27th, 150 kids, and that's all funded by them. The after-school program, which is funded through them, through the state. But anyway, they allowed me to put them all in the shirts. So they're going to have shirts and hats at the movie next Tuesday, I think it is, the 27th. So anyway, that's the update. Yes, questions?
No question, but I like to give credit where credit is due. And one of the big departments that helped out with the great festival in your race was Megan and her community development.
Absolutely.
Brianna E. and et cetera. So,
Yeah.
so everybody, all the staff, everybody from.
Everybody.
Yeah.
They allowed us to go over there. We sold a few hats and shirts just for the foundation, but Eric and Jonathan had been taking care of the little credit card thing, which I don't do. So anyway, any other questions?
No.
Well, thank you again for Chief and all your staff too. That they really helped out. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. White. I'm going to move on to council comments. Start off with Councilmember Gutierrez.
I have no comments.
Councilmember Gonzalez.
No, just thank you once again for all your guys' hard work and thank you.
Okay. Vice Mayor Cano.
No comments, just want to apologize for being late today. Fortunately, I do have a day job. Thank you.
Well, we all do, but we just some of us have multiple jobs. Hey, you just say you have to travel far. How about that? Okay. All right. We don't have no closed session. That ends our regular meeting. Our next meeting's June 11th. June 11th. Do I have a motion to adjourn? Motion by Councilmember Gonzalez, second by Councilmember Gutierrez. Madam Clerk, may I roll call, please?
Mayor Yon.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Cano.
Aye.
Councilmember Gonzalez.
Aye.
Councilmember Perez. Councilmember Gutierrez. Motion passes.
Okay. Meeting adjourned, 5:26.